Recently, I've gotten really into platformers again when playing games like Kirby Planet Robobot, New Super Mario Bros. 2, and Donkey Kong Country Returns 3D. It's been a while since I've really enjoyed platformers, but for some reason I've sort of gravitated towards those recently, and this is because a lot of my backlog at the moment consists of long games, big RPGs, tactical RPGs, that kind of thing, which you need to play for sort of 40 to 80 hours. And instead of picking one of those, I've sort of gravitated towards these shorter platformer games instead. When Super Mario 3D World came out on the Switch originally, I played through the main section of that game. I got to the hidden worlds, but I didn't really progress any further. And at the time, I'd had enough and I didn't actually go on to play Bowser's Fury. But recently, with this platforming binge, I decided to finally go back and pick up and play Bowser's Fury. And let me tell you, I think it might be one of my favourite Mario games to date. But it got me thinking, what makes this short Mario experience so good? Everybody absolutely loves it. The praise is there definitely for a reason. And I think over my time with the game, I've managed to condense down what I think are the main reasons that the game is so beloved and so exciting to play. When you start playing the game, one of the first things that you'll notice is that the level variety is really, really impressive. Sure, visually it doesn't change too much, but in terms of what you're actually doing, even at the very start, there's quite a lot of different things to do. You start off just scaling a small tower, climbing, avoiding enemies, that kind of thing, but it very quickly escalates, and soon you'll be ice skating, climbing even bigger towers, chasing Luigi over falling platforms. There will be sections with invisible floors, there'll be huge bouncing puzzles, finding keys to unlock cages. It gets to the point where you go into a new area and you're really excited to see what the challenge will be, rather than having to grind out the same activity over and over. And I think it keeps things really fresh and interesting. You as the player, you're always looking off into the distance and thinking, oh, I wonder what the challenge will be over there. Best of all, each activity is not very long. You play it for just a short time and then it kind of ends and you go on to do something else. They never outstay their welcome and become stale, and sometimes you'll even think that you've seen everything that the game has to offer, only to go around the corner and find a completely new challenge that you weren't expecting at all. One area of the game that I could possibly see some people not being super keen on is the size of the world. But actually I think this is one of the strengths of the game, and I think it ties into that variety that I was talking about. I am a fan of RPGs, you know, these massive open sprawling worlds with tons of lore and loads of amazing creatures and things like that. But I will be the first to admit that very often these kind of games are just completely chock full of filler content, fetch quests, boring repetitive tasks, just go here and do this kind of thing. Bowser's Fury has no filler content at all. It's been completely stripped back to only the most fun mechanics. Every single one of the shines feels worth your time to go after in Bowser's Fury, and the fact that the world is smaller has allowed Nintendo to work extra hard on squeezing good content into every section. That also means that the player doesn't need to fast travel, which means no load screens, which I really think adds to an experience when you have no load screens. And when you do want to get somewhere fast, you can zoom around on Plessie. This is fun on its own, but they went a step further and they even incorporated these racing challenges, which are a great way to make use of the water, and they're pretty fun, to be honest. So because the world is so small, you'll often find yourself revisiting an area that you've previously been to. And coming back to that old area usually reveals a brand new challenge that's been put there to replace the one that you previously completed. And it's usually quite a different challenge that you have to do. I think this is done really well. I've previously talked about Metroid Prime and how I didn't like the backtracking in that game. And I think that boils down to the fact that you were doing the same kind of thing. You were walking quite slowly, blasting through some enemies. The enemies got a bit boring to fight over time, and there wasn't really much variety there. In Bowser's Fury, when they do introduce those new challenges back in the old areas, they are different and they do keep things really interesting and fresh. And I think it's a really good way to make use of the smaller world size. You reuse these areas a couple of times. Puzzle layouts change, the enemies change, the objectives change. There's just a great deal of variety in there, but at the same time you have the freedom to do it at your own pace if you want. If you just finished an area and unlocked a new one, you can go straight on, move on to that new place and unlock the shines there. Or you can stick around, have a look, see if any new challenges have popped up, which they usually have, and try and clear out some more where you currently are. The choice is completely up to you. Essentially, after the first few objectives, you're free to go after things in any order that you want, and that freedom is also there when it comes to Bowser himself. As you play, Bowser's shell is slowly rising up out of the water. He's sort of there as an ominous symbol of things to come, and periodically he will come out completely, the world goes dark, fireballs will rain down from the sky, and Bowser will try to stop you. And it's completely up to you how you want to handle that. You can hide and you can wait for him to go away. You can change tactic and go after a shine in order to sort of send him back into the water. There are some specific Bowser-based objectives. There are blocks that only he can destroy, so you can try and lead him towards one of those. And if you have enough shines, then you can go to the giant cat bell, activate it, and fight him yourself. I do quite like the fights with Bowser. I think that they break up the platforming quite well, and each time you fight him, there are new mechanics added in, which is fun. And then I really enjoyed the final fight with Bowser before the credits roll. I won't talk about it too much just in case of spoilers, but I really enjoyed that. But as I said, you don't have to choose to fight him, you can just continue what you were doing. There was one time when I was fighting a mini-boss when Bowser popped up, and while I was actually having this fight with this mini-boss, there were fireballs raining down around us that I was having to dodge. It sort of added another level of difficulty on top of what I was doing, and it just made it feel so much more epic. And you wouldn't really get that kind of thing in a more linear game. It's not really something that pops up normally. It's kind of unique to this style of game, and it was really fun. I want to talk a little bit about the length of the game now. It's quite short. You can sort of beat the main section of the game in 3 to 4 hours if you want. That's when credits roll. For a lot of people, this is probably too short really, and I can definitely understand. You've paid quite a lot of money for this game, and while this is only an additional section, you know, it's still, you would like something a bit longer in order to feel like you've got your money's worth. On the other hand, I do feel that fun, small projects are a good thing. I've said before that I don't think Nintendo makes enough of these smaller, bite-sized games anymore like they used to do, especially on the 3DS. Personally, I find that if a game is too long, I can sometimes lose steam with it. I sort of find myself not wanting to go back to it too much, and the longer it is, the more chance I have to notice some flaws in the game that end up putting me off. In this case, because Bowser's Fury is quite short, it's very fast paced, it's over quite quickly, it leaves you wanting more. And I also think that it's perfect for replayability. I think that in a year or maybe something like that, I'd probably quite want to go back and boot up Bowser's Fury again and play through it again. And I wouldn't do that with a longer game, but because this is only, you know, sort of that 3 to 4 hour mark for the credits to roll, I can see myself doing that for sure. I just want to clarify though that for completionists, there is more of the game to do after the credits roll. There's another 50 shines that you can collect. These are harder challenges. It sort of really lets you flex those Mario platforming skills that you might have built up over a few games. And in total, it's supposed to be around 10 hours to get all 100 shines. So I think there is a decent amount of content there if you want it. I just also think that if all you want to do is roll the credits, then that's a good, nice, bite-sized chunk of game. You could definitely argue that the game could be longer, but in this case, I don't think so. I think that content for the sake of content isn't necessarily a good thing. Bowser's Fury is packed full of incredible, amazing level ideas, and I think that if they had to artificially extend the length of the game, and that meant that, you know, some of those not as good ideas that didn't make it in were chucked in instead, I don't think that would necessarily be a more fun time just because the game was longer. I think the game is perfect as it is, only the very best ideas seem to have gone into it, and I think that's absolutely perfect. Lastly, I just want to say a few words on the music. I've had it playing in the background throughout this video, and I hope you'll agree that, as always, Nintendo has just done an incredible job with the music of Bowser's Fury. There's a really good mix of really bouncy, upbeat tunes, whimsical backing music, and you know, when Bowser pops out, there's some really intense boss mode tracks. To be honest, when it comes to Mario games, I always think that Nintendo does a really good job with the music, and this is no exception at all. The music really adds to the mood of whatever activity it is that you're doing, and they are the types of tracks that you just find yourself humming afterwards without really realizing that you're doing it. A lot of people have said that Bowser's Fury is a masterpiece, and I 100% agree. I'm really glad that I finally went back to play it. I think it's going to be probably one of my favorite games that I've played this year, and we're only in March. If you've not played it and you have any interest in platforming games at all, then I really would highly recommend it. It will take you as little or as long as you want, and it's just pure platforming joy the whole way through. Thank you for watching.